Hey guys, it's Marshall Mathers IV here, back to you today with another video. And in today's video, I will be talking today about the fact that I believe that Eminem should have released his Slim Shady EP on December 5 of 1996 at the age of 24 years old. And the reasons why I think that would have been just the best possible time he could have released his Slim Shady EP instead of on December 15 of 1997 at the age of 25 years old, which is when he actually did release it. Unfortunately, it would have been so much more smarter and wiser of him if he had released his Slim Shady EP on December 5 of 1996 at the age of just 24 years old. And the reasons why is because, first of all, Dr. Dre, being the rapper and beat producer who signed him to his Aftermath record label company, founded his Aftermath record label company on March 22 of 1996 at the age of 31 years old. But then it took Dr. Dre almost 2 whole fucking years later before finding and signing Eminem to his Aftermath record label company, which he did on March 9 of 1998, when Dr. Dre himself was 33 years old, and at the time Eminem was 25. And, for almost 2 years, Dr. Dre was struggling and even having doubts that he would find any rapper to sign to his Aftermath record label company, because for a while there, after founding his Aftermath record label company on March 22 of 1996, he wasn't able to find any rappers to sign to that record label company of his. He was having a really hard and difficult time. He wasn't able to find any rappers in 96 to sign to that company of his, or 97. Not until early, very late 1997 or very early 1998, where he found Eminem and obviously signed him on March 9 of 1998. But how much better would it have been for both Dr. Dre and Eminem if Eminem had thought to release his Slim Shady EP on December 5 of 1996 at the age of just 24 years old, the same exact year that Dr. Dre founded his own record label company, being Aftermath, on March 22 of 1996, but just a lot of months later, Eminem would have released his Slim Shady EP, because this would have meant that Dr. Dre would have found and signed Eminem just a year later. He would have discovered, found, or signed Eminem just 1 year later in 1997. And that would have just been so much better and greater than what actually did happen instead, unfortunately. Because Dr. Dre wouldn't have struggled or had such a difficult time finding any male or female rappers to sign to his Aftermath record label company if Eminem had released his Slim Shady EP in late 1996 on December 5 of 1996 at the age of 24 years old, while he would have still been in his early 20s. And that's the most thing I wish about when it comes to Eminem's Slim Shady EP. I really do believe that Eminem should have released that EP of his while he would have still been in his early 20s. I don't think he should have been any younger than 24, but I also don't think he should have been any older than 24. I'm pissed the fuck off that Eminem released his Slim Shady EP when he did on December 15 of 1997 at the age of 25 years old. Because then that meant that he wasn't able to release his mainstream debut hip-hop rap album, the Slim Shady LP, until February 26th of 1999 at the age of 26 years old. Which pisses me off. Because that is not when I wish he released his Slim Shady LP. Or when I think he should have. And after this video, tomorrow I will be making a video as to when I wish and also do strongly believe Eminem should have released his Slim Shady LP album. And I will talk about that in the next video. But in this video, it's all about and focused on when Eminem definitely, without a doubt, should have released his Slim Shady EP. And, you know, this would have also been better for Eminem on his part, because this would have meant that Eminem could have became famous a little smidgen, tad bit younger than he actually did. He could have became famous as young as I wish he would have, being at the age of 24. And he would have started recording the songs for his Slim Shady LP album at the age of just 24 years old. And then he could have released it at the age of 25, which is when I wish he would have released his album, the Slim Shady LP. But I'm going to talk more about that in the next video. And, you know, I would have been so happy and so at peace and so content if I would have known that Eminem was signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath record label company on March 9 of 1997, or maybe even a little bit earlier than then, and started recording the songs for his Slim Shady LP album at the age of just 24 years old. Because that's when I wish he would have started working on and recording the songs for his Slim Shady LP album. I wish he had been no older than 24 years old. But also no younger. No younger than 24, but no older than 24. I think at the age of 24 would have just been, in my opinion at least, the perfect age for Eminem to have started working on and recording the songs for his Slim Shady LP album. And that's what I really wish and strongly believe should have happened, even though it obviously didn't, and there's no way I can change history as much as I wish I could. I can't. I just have to deal with and accept when he did release all of his projects up until this very point. But anyways, like, here's the thing too. You know, the thing that pisses me off is that Eminem, compared to most other rappers, both from the old school and new school era of rap, didn't become famous that young compared to most other rappers. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's a perfect example, or should I say examples. Tupac released his debut album, Tupacalypse Now, in the year 1991 at the age of just 20 years old. 20 years old. Ice Cube released his debut album in the year 1990 at the age of 21. The Notorious Big released his first album at the age of 22 in 1994. Nas released his first album at the age of about 20 or 21 in 1994. I mean, I could go on and on. Like most rappers, both from the old school or new school era of rap music, don't have to wait so long to become famous or before releasing their debut hip-hop rap album, unlike Eminem has. And the thing that pisses me off is that Eminem had started rapping as young as 15, 16 years old. Like, he started rapping younger than even Tupac did. He was rapping younger and longer than Tupac, or probably many other rappers who are black, did. And yet it took him until 25 years old to be found and signed by Dr. Dre to his Aftermath record label company. And it took him until the age of 26 to release his Slim Shady LP album, which I think is fucking retarded. I think it's unfair. I think it is outrageous. Because, again, Eminem had been rapping since he was 15, 16 years old. But it took him until the age of 25 to be found and signed by Dr. Dre. And it took him until age 26 to release his Slim Shady LP album. I mean, at the very latest, that I wish he would have released his Slim Shady LP album. As in, the age that I wish he would have been at, and the age that I strongly believe he should have been at when releasing his Slim Shady LP album, should have been, and I wish would have been, 25 years old. And I don't think for a second that he should have been any older than 25 when releasing that album of his. I wish he had got to release at least one of his albums at the age of 25. At least one. His very first one. But sadly he didn't, and wasn't able to, because he didn't release his Slim Shady EP at the age of 24 on December 5 of 1996, when he would have only been 24, still in his early 20s, and that would have meant that he could have been found and signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath record label company at the age of 24. Still, while he would have been in his early 20s, and at the time in 1997, early 1997, of course, Dr. Dre would have only been 32 when finding and signing Eminem to his Aftermath record label company. And then Eminem could have immediately started working on his Slim Shady LP album like he did right after he got signed. He immediately started working and recording songs for his Slim Shady LP album. But I think it would have been so awesome if he would have only been 24 years old when being signed, so that he could have released his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25. The age I think he should have been at when releasing that album of his. And nobody can tell me otherwise. I mean, I just think it is fucked up in every possible way that it took Eminem until the age of 26 to release his Slim Shady LP album. And it took him until 25 years old to be discovered by a famous rapper who had became famous way younger than Eminem did. It's just unbelievable. And that's why I wish and do believe that Eminem should have released his Slim Shady EP on December 5 of 1996 at the age of 24. Because, in my opinion, there's no denying the fact, because in my opinion, I believe that it is a fact that Eminem should have still been in his early 20s when releasing his Slim Shady EP. He really should have. He should have been in his early 20s when releasing that EP of his. And the only way that would have been possible is if he would have released his Infinite album instead of in late 1996, which is when he actually did, which was fucking stupid and dumb on his part, and released that album of his a whole year earlier in late 1995, which would have been much smarter and wiser. so that he could have released his Slim Shady EP in late 1996, like he should have. Like he definitely should have. At the age of 24, while he would have still been in his early 20s. And this would have also meant that he would have recorded the songs for his Slim Shady EP at the age of 23 years old, and then released it when he was 24, still in his early 20s. And then he would have been signed while still in his early 20s. He could have started working on his Slim Shady LP in his early 20s, which is what he would have done if he would have released his Slim Shady EP at the age of 24 and have been signed at the age of 24, and then could have released his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25. And I will talk about that album in the next video after this one. But yeah, I mean, I'm honestly just pissed that Eminem didn't even become famous like at the age of 25 and releasing his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25. Became famous at the age of 25 and released his album at age 25, but got signed at the age of 24 while he would have still been in his early 20s, which would have been just amazing, incredible. And it would have been so much more fair if he would have got to release his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25 instead of 26. And you know, another reason that I think he should have been able to release his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25 is because Tupac, after he died, but he fully finished and completed his very last album, which was called Machiavelli the Don, 7-Day Theory, Killuminati, and it was released when Tupac was 25, but it was released a little bit after his death. But it was his very last album that he got completely finished before dying. He released 2 albums in 1996. He released All Eyes on Me in early 1996 when he was 24, and then he released Machiavelli the Don, 7-Day Theory, Killuminati at age 25. Well, like people who were close with him did after his death. And so it would have been sweet if Eminem could have been able to release his first album at age 25, especially because he was a huge fan of Tupac. So it would have been just so cool if Eminem would have been able to release at least his Slim Shady LP album at the age of 25. And, you know, I mean, like I said, most rappers, both from the old school or new school era of rap, release their debut hip-hop rap albums way younger than Eminem got to. Like, most rappers, both male and female rappers, whether from the old school or new school era of rap, are able to release their albums when they're in their like late teens and early 20s. But Eminem didn't get to release his first album, the Slim Shady LP, well, his second album, but his first mainstream hip-hop rap album when after he became famous, until his late 20s, which is bullshit. It's bullshit that he wasn't able to release his Slim Shady LP until he was 26. And you know, the only reason that happened is because he made the terrible decision to release his Slim Shady EP when he did on December 15 of 1997 at the age of 25 years old, because then he wasn't signed until 25, and that was the age that he started working on and recording the songs for his Slim Shady LP. So then he released it when he was 26, a year later, after recording that album of his. And he didn't release his Slim Shady EP earlier, like in late 1996, like he should have, because he released his Infinite album in late 1996 at the age of 24. And he should have released it in late 1995 at the age of 23, not late 1996 at the age of 24, so that he could have released his Slim Shady EP then in late 1996 at the age of 24, while he would have still been in his early 20s. His Infinite album should have been released and came out when he was only 23 on November 2 of 1995, and his Slim Shady EP should have came out and been released when he was only 24 years old on December 5 of 1996. But that's all I wanted to say in today's video. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm out.